The plane disintegrated in midair. It wasn't turbulence. It wasn't lightning. I saw the greenish light envelop us seconds before the disaster. Unnatural. Directed. When I regained consciousness, I was in the water, clinging to a piece of the fuselage. Around me, only death. Floating bodies, shattered luggage, fuel staining the surface. The island appeared before me like a promise of salvation. I swam until my muscles burned. When I finally reached the beach, I collapsed on the sand. Alive, but broken. 3 broken ribs. A deep wound in my leg. Dehydrated. As unconsciousness claimed me, I saw a shadow at the edge of the jungle. Tall. Inhuman. Watching me. It wasn't a hallucination. I built a precarious shelter with remains from the plane. Found water in a nearby stream. Ate fruits that seemed safe. The infection in my leg is getting worse. Fever comes and goes. During one of my delirious states, I felt a presence. I opened my eyes and saw it. Not 5 meters away, motionless like a living statue. At least 2 meters tall, extremely thin. Skin that changed color like tree bark, perfect camouflage. Its face was vaguely humanoid. Its head, elongated backward, was covered by what looked like vines or vegetable tentacles that moved of their own will. I didn't run. I couldn't. When our gazes met, I felt pressure inside my head, as if something was trying to enter. Then it left, blending with the jungle so perfectly that it disappeared before my eyes. This morning I found leaves of an unknown plant next to my shelter. They have a mentholated aroma. A gift? Medicine? Desperation will make me use them soon. The leaves saved my life. I applied them to the wound, and although the initial pain was unbearable, the infection receded in hours. My fever disappeared. Tonight I left fruits outside my shelter. An offering, a thank you. By morning they had disappeared. In their place, I found a strange object, a kind of greenish crystal that pulses with its own light when I touch it. The size of my fist, with symbols carved on its surface that seem to change if I look at them too long. I kept it inside my jacket. I feel its warmth over my chest, like a second heart. Today I saw the footprints. Not human. 5 long fingers and a 6th opposite one, like an exaggeratedly developed thumb. Deep, as if their owner weighed much more than their slender figure suggests. I followed them to a part of the jungle I hadn't explored. The vegetation there is different. Plants that don't seem terrestrial. Impossible colors. Biomechanical structures that merge with the trees. In the center, a perfect clearing. And in the middle, a structure similar to an altar. On it, the crystal it gave me pulsed in synchrony with other similar crystals, placed in a geometric pattern. I felt its presence before seeing it. I turned slowly. It was 3 meters away, watching me. Its vegetable hair moved as if an invisible breeze stirred it. Its skin changed patterns, showing green and brown tones that perfectly mimicked the surrounding jungle. This time it didn't flee. It took a step toward me. I raised my hand, showing the crystal. She nodded. "Who are you?" I asked. She didn't respond with words. She pointed to the crystal, and then touched her own head. I understood. I placed the crystal on my forehead. The world exploded in colors and sensations. Her name is unpronounceable for my human throat. In my mind, it sounds like the wind passing through the jungle after the rain. I call her Echo. She's not a visitor. She is the island. Or more precisely, the island is part of her, and she of the island. A symbiotic consciousness, fused with the ecosystem. She showed me images. The island, thousands of years ago, was normal. Then, that fell from the sky. Not a ship, as I imagined at first. A seed. A kind of cosmic spores that began to fuse with the local flora and fauna. Accelerated evolution. Emergent consciousness. Echo was born from that union between the terrestrial and the stellar. Unique. Alone. She has been observing humans when they approach. Occasional boats. Now planes. "Did you cause the accident?" I asked through the crystal. The answer wasn't in words but in emotions. Loneliness. Need. Curiosity. Then guilt. She took the crystal from my hands and placed it on the altar. The other crystals pulsed more intensely. An image appeared in my mind. The island, seen from above, surrounded by a field of greenish energy. A barrier, a defense system, but also a call, a desperate invitation. Echo didn't intentionally bring down my plane. Her loneliness did. Echo comes every day now. She has taught me to use the crystal, she calls it core, to communicate better. Her language is a mixture of images, sensations, and abstract concepts that I am gradually learning to interpret. I've discovered more about her. She's not the first of her kind on the island. There were others, born like her from the fusion between the stellar spores and local life. But they died, or they transformed into something else, rooting so deeply into the ecosystem that they lost their individuality. Echo struggles to maintain her separate consciousness, to not dissolve completely into the island. That's why she seeks connection with other conscious beings. That's why she saved me. She has shown me wonders, plants that respond to her thoughts, creatures that don't appear in any biology book, a cave where crystals like the core grow like coral formations, pulsing with energy. She has also shown me the changes in my body. The wound on my leg didn't just heal, it transformed. The veins around it now have a greenish tone. Sometimes, under certain light, I can see patterns similar to those on her skin forming and fading on my forearm. I'm becoming something different. What's happening to me? I asked through the core. Her response was clear. Symbiosis. The medicinal plants didn't just cure my infection. They introduced the stellar spores into my system. My body is integrating them. Will I become something like you? I asked, terrified and fascinated at the same time. Not exactly. Something new. A bridge between her species and mine. Can you stop it? Silence. Then sadness. The transformation had begun. Trying to reverse it now would kill me. I walked away from her, furious, scared. She didn't try to follow me. Through the core, which I still carried with me, I felt her regret, her renewed loneliness, 2 days hiding on the beach, as far as possible from the jungle. From her. I observed the changes in my body with horror. The greenish veins have spread. I can feel the island in ways that were impossible before. The direction of the wind, the movement of distant animals, the thirst of plants during the midday heat. The core pulses beside me, transmitting fragments of echo. I see her in the jungle, motionless for hours, looking toward the beach, waiting. Last night I had vivid dreams. I saw myself walking through the jungle, my skin changing to adapt to the environment, merging with the vegetation when I wanted to rest. I wasn't a monster in that dream. I was free. I've made a decision. I'll return to the jungle. I'll confront Echo. I'll demand the whole truth. And I'll find out if there's still something human to save in me. Echo was waiting for me in the altar clearing, as if she had never moved from there. This time, there were no deceptions. She showed me the complete history. The spores arrived on Earth millennia ago, not by accident. They were sent as seeds of life by a dying civilization in a distant star system, their last legacy to the cosmos. They arrived at various points on the planet. Most failed. Some briefly prospered before being destroyed by primitive humans who feared the unknown. This island was different, isolated, protected by storms and treacherous currents. Here the spores flourished, merging with local life, creating a unique ecosystem, a collective consciousness. And from that consciousness, individuals emerged. Beings like Echo, symbiosis personified. At first there were several, a community, but over time, most chose to fully reintegrate into the ecosystem. Others tried to leave the island and died. Echo was left alone. For centuries she watched ships pass in the distance. Some naturally shipwrecked near the island. Echo tried to communicate with the survivors. Most fled in terror. Some attacked. Few listened. With those who listened, she tried the same as with me, sharing, merging. None survived the process. Their bodies rejected the spores. They died in agony. Until me. Why me? I asked. The answer was surprising. My illness. The reason for my trip. The experimental treatment I had begun for my autoimmune condition. It had altered my immune system in ways that made it exceptionally receptive to the spores. What am I becoming? She showed me. Not a monster. Not a copy of her. Something in between. Human in mind and spirit. Symbiont in body. Capable of connecting with the island like her, but maintaining my human individuality. And if I don't want this? Her sadness was overwhelming, but her answer was honest. The process could be stopped, perhaps. The price, extreme pain. And if I survived, I could never leave the island. My system was already too altered. The outside world would kill me. 2 days meditating on my decision. I've learned more about my new abilities. I can feel the island as an extension of myself. The jungle responds to my thoughts, subtly. My skin can slightly change tone to adapt to the environment. I can communicate with Echo without the core now, though in a limited way. I've also seen her limitations. Echo is tied to the island. She cannot survive far from it. If I complete the transformation, I will share that limitation. Staying means giving up my old life, my humanity, in part, the possibility of rescue. But what awaits me if I return? An incurable disease that would slowly consume me, experimental treatments that might only prolong the inevitable, loneliness of a different kind. Here I have something I never had, connection, not just with Echo, but with the entire island, belonging. Through the core, I have felt the presence of other symbionts, deeply asleep in the heart of the island. Not dead or reintegrated, but in a kind of hibernation, waiting for something, perhaps for someone like me. Tonight I will give my answer to Echo. I have decided. We met at dawn in the altar clearing. The cores pulsed with light, forming patterns that reflected our intertwined emotions. If I do this, I said aloud, knowing she understood, it will be under my conditions. I showed her my thoughts. Never again attract boats or planes. Never again experiment with humans. If other castaways arrive by natural causes, they will have freedom to choose their destiny. Echo accepted. I lay down on the altar. The cores surrounded us, floating in the air, pulsing to the rhythm of our synchronized hearts. Echo placed her hands on my chest. The pain was unbearable, as if every cell in my body was torn apart and rejoined. I screamed until I had no voice left. The entire jungle seemed to scream with me, the trees shaking without wind, birds taking flight in panic. And then, clarity. An expanded consciousness I had never experienced. I could feel the entire island, every tree, every creature, the pulse of life flowing through everything. My skin now changes like Echo's, adapting to the environment, 2 weeks since my transformation. Each day I discover new abilities. I can partially merge with the vegetation, camouflaging myself until becoming almost invisible. I can feel the energy currents of the island, direct them to a small degree. My strength and endurance have increased exponentially, but I retain my humanity, my identity, my ability to choose. We have established a new pact, Echo and I. We deactivated the energy barrier that surrounded the island. We will no longer attract ships or planes. If someone arrives by accident, we will help them survive, build a raft to leave if they wish, unless they choose to stay. Echo has taught me the secrets of the island, the organic technology left by the spores, the unique life cycles of this ecosystem, communication with the collective consciousness that underlies everything. I have taught her about humanity, about compassion, about connection that is not born from desperate need, but from mutual respect. Yesterday, as we explored the deep caves beneath the mountain, we felt something, a pulse, an awakening, the other symbionts, the sleepers, beginning to stir in their long sleep. Echo stood motionless, her eyes more open than normal. Then she showed me. They weren't just memories or echoes of the past. They were real symbionts in deep hibernation, waiting. The balance we have created, the new energy that our union has generated, is awakening them. Soon we will not be just two. I don't know what that means for us, for the island, for the future. But for the first time since my plane went down, I feel genuine hope. The island still has many secrets, and I have a whole new life to discover them. With Echo by my side, I am no longer a castaway. I am part of something greater, something that is just beginning.